Hey guys, it's Ryan with My Listing Club. In this video, I'm going to show you a PDF solution for WooCommerce. We're going to look at setting it up in the back end on a My Listing website, and then we're going to run through what this also looks like from the customer's point of view. So again, if you're looking for a WooCommerce PDF packing slip solution, then this might be the one for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in from the My Listing Club website. That's mylisting.club. Go ahead and click on the menu up there in the top, and then go to Resources. And this very first post here, easily implement WooCommerce PDF invoices and packing slips with ACOWebs. ACOWebs is a newer partner, and maybe you've already seen it, but I did a recent video for another one of their solutions, and that was to set up deposits and partial payments. So same company, this is a different product of theirs, okay? So let's go ahead and click into this guide. This is what I'm going to use. I'm going to follow along with this for this video. But yeah, so as it says here, this guide will help you easily set up this plugin. We're going to talk about the Pro version specifically. But I'm also going to show you quickly how to look at the free version and the differences and whatnot. So again, I'll show you how to create, edit, and modify your own templates, as well as the options to download or print invoices and packing slips right from the WooCommerce admin. I'll also show you how this all looks and works from the customer's point of view. Okay, and then this next box down here, we see the free version, a note about the free version. Go ahead and click on that link. So you can click, there's another link they give you right here, try free version. Before we do that, I wanted to draw attention here to the back end and front end demo. So if you want to try this even before you buy it, even though there's a refund policy, you can go ahead and click on one of these links here. You can see how this is going to look in the back end. And then there's also a front end demo here. Okay, so you can test this out as a customer would see it. Okay, really quickly here, you can see the price is $39 for a year, and then you get the discount through the club. So very inexpensive stuff. Okay, yeah, back to the free version. So if we follow this link, it's going to open the WordPress, their plugin page in the WordPress repository. And instead of me installing the free version and then installing the pro, then doing a comparison, just compare what's in the free version here and then what's in the pro version here, and check out the differences. So some of the key differences right off the top are the invoice templates. So if you don't want to use the default template that they provide, which you can customize to a certain extent, or you want to have full flexibility to use some of their templates, to use the full drag and drop system and fully customize this stuff. That's some of the top features, but there's a lot of other stuff in here that may be really essential to you, like VAT and doing social security number stuff. Just a lot of stuff in here. I'll let you read through it. Yeah, lots of stuff in the pro version, which is what we're going to look at right now. Okay, so here I am. I'm on a dummy MyListing website. It's just a sandbox test site. I'm going to move my guide over here to my other screen so I can follow along. So let's go ahead and dive in here. Quick note here from my guide. These instructions cover exactly how I set up custom invoicing for my businesses. You can assume I left the defaults if I don't mention a specific setting. Since all businesses differ, ensure the settings meet your specific requirements. So this is just to say, like, just don't follow you can follow exactly what I do, but don't only do what I do, because there's 99% chance you're going to need additional settings for your own site. Okay. Moving on down the next, I have an important note. If you've already launched your website, I recommend setting this up and staging first. So get it all set up, get the templates looking exactly the way you want. Make sure the flow is working, everything is working as expected. Once that's done, then just reproduce all that stuff in production. It will not take much time to reproduce what you've done in staging. Otherwise, if your site is already launched and you're taking orders, you risk some really embarrassing stuff, sending out invoices that aren't ready to go, that don't match your branding. All kinds of potential bad stuff can go wrong if you do this on a live site where you're currently taking orders. If your site is live in air quotes, but maybe it's got a coming soon page, yeah, by all means, test this out, do your thing. But if you're actively taking orders and your site's open to the public I would highly recommend testing this on staging first. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in, and let's go to our plugins. As we see here, just a basic core set of plugins. I'm going to add the pro version by uploading it from my computer here. Okay, we'll go ahead and activate it. All right, so that plugin is in there. Let's go ahead and click on the configure link here. Now, if this was a real site and I was licensing it, my next step would be to jump over here into the license tab and license this up. We've got the latest version here, and we're not going to license this test site up, so let's just skip the license piece for now. Our next move is to go to PDF Invoices. So you're in the WordPress dashboard. We're already there, but if you were back at the root of the WordPress dashboard, you would just go under WooCommerce and click on PDF Invoice here on the left-hand side. Okay. All right. First up is company info. So you want to go through and fill this out according to your business. The sender information here is going to pull from WooCommerce automatically. So whatever you have set up in your WooCommerce store is going to get pulled in here. So that's pretty cool. So you can go ahead and put your company name in here. I'm going to put a logo. This isn't the logo that I want, but I'll go ahead and just put that in for now. The signature field. So part of what we're going to do here in this video is I'm going to go through each field for you to tell you what's what. Some of the stuff I talked to the actual vendor to get clarification on stuff, so you don't have to, but you can obviously do it for yourself. But I'm going to explain some of these fields as they were explained to me after some conversations, because I had some questions myself. So this one here is a signature. This is if some of the documents you were uploading, which we'll talk about here in a second, needed your signature or a signature of some sort added to the actual documents, printed on the actual documents. So that's what that's for. That could be like your actual like signature. It could be like an image version of just your name. I mean, however you want to do it. Like it could be like a seal, a stamp, like however you want to do that there. Footer, that's going to appear in the very bottom of the invoice, at the very bottom left, I believe, unless you move that around with your template. We talked about the sender information. So fill out as much of this information as you feel is necessary. You'll actually see where this appears in the invoice here soon. Put a number in there, email if you want. If that applies to you, then address that information. For me, I toggled off. I left all the sender information. Let me go ahead and put my name in here. So company name, this is all good. I don't actually sell physical goods, so I don't really have a need for shipping and everything, which is kind of like the sender details. But you might want to put this information in there just so they know who actually like sent the invoice. I guess that would be a good way to look at it too. So not just sending physical goods. So I put my information in here. I'm not going to put a contact number. I'm not going to put an email. They can find me online since I have that chat widget on my website. But if you don't have that and you want them to easily be able to reach out to you, putting an email in there might make sense. Like I said, I don't use VAT, so I don't touch that stuff. I turn social security number stuff off. I turn off this VAT number. And moving on down, other settings, right to left support. If you are in a country that requires right to left support, text support, not tech support, text support, then you may want to look at this. I'm going to leave this off. I would leave this off on my sites here in the US, even though I serve a global community and global customers. If enough people were to come back to me and say, hey, like we need this support in our invoices, then I would consider toggling this on. Additional documents, I kind of alluded to this before, but if let's say you're selling a listing for a professional and they are like a doctor or something like that, and you want to upload a disclaimer that says, our website is like, we're not doctors ourselves. We're just the website owners, the business owners. Any information offered on our website is not meant to be medical advice. Things of that nature you could do. This is where you could upload that type of document to all the invoices. Okay, so you can, any kind of document you can think of. They also show here terms and conditions, refund policy, and other documents. I actually have a feature request out to them because I think another cool feature would be, instead of uploading the documents, would be just to point to some URLs on your website that can be referenced from the invoice. So keep those emails smaller, more compact, and help with deliverability. Just include links. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and save this by clicking Update Settings. And then let me check my guide here and make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, we're going over to document settings now. So click on the document settings tab. By default, everything is enabled, which is invoice, packing slip, shipping label, delivery notes, dispatch label, and credit notes. So we're now going to work under the invoice. Obviously, we want to have it enabled. The next setting is enable MPDF. That's hard to say. MPDF auto-laying to font. Let me see if I think I have this. Let me read it exactly verbatim as it was told to me from their support. Some of this I just didn't understand myself. Let's see if I can find it. Bear with me 1 second. All right, I'm not finding that email very quickly, so maybe I'll just try my best to remember what it is they said. Oh, you know what? It was under support, not the partnership discussion. I can't find it, so oh, here we go. I found it. Okay. Where are we at? Real quickly, going back, let's read through all the questions and I'll answer all the questions that I asked. Company info and the signature. When would this be useful? The company info and digital signature in a PDF are equivalent to an e-signature on a paper document, but it's much more secure. Such as this piece of information will help the users identify that the document has not been modified by a person, etc. So that's just saying, hey, we're going to imprint the signature on the invoices. It can't be altered, yada, yada, yada. Company info logo, what formats are allowed? I asked them that. PNG and JPEG formats. Additional setting, additional documents. I told you about my feature request, and they said they would look into that. Under the invoice settings, okay, which is where we are now, this enable MPDF auto-laying, they said MPDF is a PHP library that generates PDF files. Enabling this option will help the customers to rendering fonts like Japanese, Hebrew, etc. by automatically fetching the data from the MPDF files. So to me, this is kind of like the RTL, the right to left. If you hear customers needing this, maybe consider toggling it on, but I wouldn't until then. Unless you are in a country or, your business requires that day one, then, obviously toggle that on. I'm not going to do that myself here in the US. Okay, moving on down, invoice name, pretty self-explanatory. Change it if you'd like. Use order date as invoice date. I wouldn't use that myself. Use order number as invoice number. Yes, this is what I would want to do. Generate invoice for order statuses. I would want to change it from processing to completed. Okay, so only once that that payment comes in, it's successful, the order is deemed completed. That's when I want to issue the invoice. Additional user roles for who can access the invoices. I'm just going to leave this blank for now unless a need arises for something different. Enable pro forma. This was a question that I asked. A pro forma invoice is a quote in an invoice format. Sometimes the client needs the pro forma before completing the order, which helps them to apply this for an import license or contract for a pre-shipment inspection, etc. So it sounds like this is really, if you're selling physical products that need to be shipped, this would probably apply to you more so. And then that would also change potentially when you generate the invoice order statuses. So maybe it's not completed, maybe it is in the processing state instead. So something to look at there. I don't sell, like I said, I don't sell physical goods, so I'm going to leave that off. Generate invoice for free orders. I don't want to do that. Display free line items in invoice. I don't want to do that. I could see that if you were selling physical products, that would probably make sense because you're kind of creating like that packing slip, which actually there's a separate packing slip here, so I'm not sure if that's where you would do it or what. Anyway, I leave that off for now since I don't sell physical products and I don't ship them anywhere. Okay, moving on down. Invoice number format. I'm just going to leave it set as number. Invoice length. You can leave this as is. I'll let you read through this, but basically it's going to add like if it's going to add some zeros to the front of whatever your invoice length is, and depending on what it is here. So as it said, I'll actually read it for you here. The total length of the invoice number. So let's say your invoice number was 100, excluding the length of the prefix and suffix, which is kind of what we're dealing with here. If the length of the generated invoice number, which we're saying is 100, is less than the provided, so less than this amount, it will be padded with 0. So according to this section, if we're saying let's allow 3 digits and my invoice number is 3 digits, it's 100, then that's going to be the invoice number. It's going to be 100. Okay. Let's say my invoice number was 1,000, but I had invoice length of 3. What it's going to do is then add a 0. Should add a 0 in front of that 100. So it should be 0100. So they go on to say, if you set a 6 as an invoice length and the invoice number is 2005, it will be represented as 00. Yeah, so that's cool. So let's go back to my hypothetical 100 invoice. If I was to set this to say 6 and my invoice number was 100, it's going to appear like this: 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's that 6 digits. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this as 3 until I have a reason to adjust it, which I don't think I really ever would. Show raw data. I did not get an answer for that, and that is my fault. It looks like the way I formatted my question wasn't correct. Literally, the formatting wasn't correct. So I think they just missed that question. So I'm not sure what this does. I don't think I can't imagine what I would need it for. So I'm just going to leave that unchecked. Attach PDF and email. That's pretty self-explanatory. I want to send an invoice and email. Attach additional documents in an email. I don't have any additional documents I want to send as part of this implementation, so I'm going to leave that off. Another thing we'll see here in a second is the ability to download. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Enable invoice print option for customers. It's right there, the very next setting. This is what allows you in the back end as a customer, or in your account section, if you're a customer, to download your invoices. So there's going to be that little button that says invoice, download it, whatever. This right here, if I had additional documents, I would, instead of using this option, I would just roll with this one and allow them to download there instead of keeping those emails small and helping with the delivery rate. Now, if these documents, if it's imperative that these documents reach the inbox of people, that you show a log of you sending these documents out to somebody in their email, then it's on them to, if they don't open it, that's their fault. Then 1000%, if that's the case, toggle this on. Okay. Custom logo for invoice. If you have a unique logo just for your invoices, you can put that in here. If you don't, it's going to use that invoice that logo we set under general settings over there previously. So I'm going to leave that alone for now. Paid stamp. This is pretty cool. If you do nothing here, there's going to be like a red stamp that says paid, thank you. I didn't like the way that looks personally, because I wanted to match my brand. It looks okay. It just doesn't match the brand. So I wanted to make a custom one. And so I'm going to go ahead and upload that. I'm actually going to upload. So there's my stamp. I'm actually going to go back here. I'm going to save my settings. Actually, you know what? I'll set it right here. So custom logo for invoice. I'm going to go ahead and just upload my other logo. There we go. So now I'm saying this is going to be my logo for the invoices. This is going to be my custom paid stamp that matches my branding. And by the way, I created this page stamp in Canva in about, I think it took me 2 minutes. I've really fallen in love with Canva and what it does. It's just super powerful stuff. So you might want to check that out too. There's a free trial for the Pro plan on Canva. The free version is super powerful too. Okay, paper size I'm going to leave. Paper orientation I'm going to leave that alone. Custom CSS I'm not going to touch that. I don't need to print invoices by order date range, so I'm going to go ahead and update my settings here. All right, let me go back to my guide and see if I missed anything. Let's see here. Oh yeah, so going back here, I wanted to mention this. We set this to be use order number as invoice number. Now, if you're just starting out as a business, you're taking your first order. If you just roll with the defaults here, based on this setting, use order number as invoice number and use an invoice length of 3, what the first invoice number is going to be for your customers is 001. Now, from a vanity point of view, maybe you're fine with that. Like, hey, I'm just launching. It is what it is. You're my first invoice. I'm proud of that. I'm cool with that. But if you don't want that, then what I would recommend you do is instead of using use order number as the invoice number, you go down here and you set next invoice number. You know, set this to some random number. So it looks like you've taken a certain number of orders already. Okay. So then that's going to mean your very first order that comes through is going to be 236 there. Okay. I'm going to put this back and I'm going to say, go back here, use order number as invoice number and put all those settings back, update my settings. So yeah, in short, some website owners might not want customers to see that they are their first customers. That's just up for you to decide there. Okay, so that's it. Packing slip, I toggle this off. Shipping label, I toggle this off. All because I don't do sell physical products. So I toggle all of this off. Credit notes, this is for using this PDF Invoices plugin solution to send out like refunds. It's like refund documents and things like that. I'm going to toggle this off for now. But it's all pretty self-explanatory. You can go in here and most of it's configured for you, but you can add customer notes, footer, style it however you want. Lots of options there. Okay, so now it's time to place some orders to see where we're at with our progress. If you're setting this up in staging first, go ahead and place some orders because then it won't matter because it's in staging. You don't have to worry about the orders clogging up your database, actually going through your payment processor and all of that sort of thing. But if you're setting this up on a production website, I recommend setting your payment method to test mode. If you're doing this with Stripe, I include a link for how to do that really simply. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and test this out. I'm going to set, I think I've already done this, but let me check. I'm going to go to my WooCommerce settings. I'm going to do payments. And yes, so I wanted to choose cash on delivery. So you just go in here. You don't even actually need to go in. Just toggle this on right here. Oops. So just toggle this on. I'm going to do cash on delivery just so we can avoid any payment gateways and whatnot, make this faster. Okay, so now let's do a test. Here I am logged in as a test user. That person's Ryan. I'm going to go to the shop. And I'm just going to buy a simple product. Go to my cart. Check out. Sorry, this is just like I said, this is just a test site. So some of the styling's not done. So I'll put this information in here real quick. 111 West. North. Dang, I can't see what this stuff is. Sorry, let me do something real quick, guys. If you bear with me here. Find the body of this text here. Nope, that didn't do it. Damn. Sorry about this. I just can't remember what what all of these fields are here. I think this is the address. North Carolina. Dang, I can't tell what this stuff is. United States. Hold on one second. I'm going to do this on my actual website here. See if I can go through the checkout process and see what these darn fields are. Okay, so we got first name, last name, country, region, street address, which we have, town, city. This should be there. State, we've got zip code. Okay, and I think something's missing here. All right, again, sorry about this, guys. Okay, so we see here, total is $5. It's cash on delivery. If we can see that there, I'm gonna go ahead and place order. That's one way to find out what these fields are. Just don't put any data in there and let them tell you. Phone. Oh, yeah. And sorry if you hear snoring in the background. That is my dog. Apologize. Okay. Yeah, this looks terrible. I gotta style this test site here. Okay, so we've got the order placed, order received. So let's go to my account here and go under orders. And we see we can view the orders, but we don't see the invoices because we see that it's in a processing state. So I'm going to jump back over here. And depending on your setup, there's ways, you can mark these to autocomplete depending on what type of product you're selling. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this as completed. Change status to completed. There we go. And because it's completed now, we've now triggered the PDF invoices, and we see that there's a document here to download. So this is, as the admin, that they can now download on demand, click on this and download the actual invoice. So view it, download it, whatever. If there was that option to attach additional documents, those would also be lined up here, okay? All right, jumping back over as the regular user, let's go ahead and refresh this. Let's go to orders. Now we see the invoice button show up here. So now the customer can click on that and do whatever they need to do there. Okay, so let's look at where we are. Let's look at where we are with the design of our invoice here. And let me also go back to my guide and make sure I didn't miss anything. So these are my initial results, what the observations that I made from the initial result after I placed an order. Customer, with the order having a status of completed, the customer was sent the order email with their invoice attached. So if I was to open my email, you would see that in there. Also, as the customer, with the customer logged into their account, they can view and download invoices from their orders page. My account orders, which I just showed you. As the site owner, from the WooCommerce orders table in WordPress, I showed you this. Admins can download the invoices and whatever attached documents. Invoices. The invoice design needs attention to match your branding, to include, exclude information, etc. Okay, so now we're looking at the actual invoice. And as you can see, it doesn't match my branding. It does have my logo in there. It does have my custom paid stamp, which is really cool down here in the bottom, but the blue doesn't match my branding, and I'm going to do just a little bit more here, okay? We also see here that shipping address is in there. I don't need that, so we're going to look at also stripping some information out of here. All right, I'm going to open and duplicate this tab so we can see our progress. Now I'm going to go back into PDF Invoices, Document Settings. I'm going to click this Customize Layout button here. So this is our default classic that you get with the free version. But now, because we're on Pro, we've got options to add these templates in. I'm going to add this one called Yahoo. I like the way that looks. Choose this theme. I'm going to hover over it and activate it. I could have customized it too first. That would probably be the smarter move if I was in production, but because I'm in staging, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to activate it and then customize it. But if you were in a production website, maybe you want to, hopefully you're not doing it in a production, but if you were, maybe customize it first before activating it. Keep that default template in place until you're ready to rock. All right, so we're going to customize this thing. Super simple to do. Right off the bat, color theme, the color theme option on the top right. I'm just going to choose a different color here. Click on it. I'm going to change this to my branding right there. Okay, so I think that looks pretty cool. And you can also use this preview button. It'll open in a new tab and it'll kind of show you your progress. Okay, down here on the right-hand side, there's that RTL support. You can enable that right from this particular invoice template. Theme font, I'm going to choose my actual font. So mine is Source Sans Pro. So I'm going to add that in. Now I'm going to just start stripping the things off that I don't want or need my customers to see. And that is starting with the shipping address. So I don't ship anything. I don't sell physical products. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Okay, so we've greatly simplified everything. We just now have the from address, which is our company information essentially at this point, and the billing address information. So that's the customer. Moving on down, what else do I want to strip out of here? That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Shipping method, we don't need that. I don't need that. So I'm going to take that out. Don't want anything to do with social security numbers. So I'm taking that out. VAT number, I don't need. Discount tax, I don't need. Shipping costs, shipping tax. I don't have any fees per se, total. I don't have a signature. I don't need the footer. Just really simplify things. Make this lean and mean. Less things to call from the software that when you uncheck these boxes, just a few less things you need to call from the software. So you're telling the software, hey, I don't need to even look at this stuff. Just get rid of it. Okay, so that's in there. I'm going to save changes. Refresh. Okay, so I've got all the information that I need in here. Invoice number, order date, how they paid, invoice date. It's kind of the same as, that's interesting. I would maybe want to consider taking out order date and order number. I would probably fine tune this even more. I don't know if you need order date and invoice date both. This is interesting. So it has the invoice number as 081, even though in my settings back here, I said use order number as invoice number. So, okay. So you may be okay there. So what it did was it's just pulling. This is just a random order from WooCommerce. But what we can see here is that it did append that 0. So it gives you that invoice number that's 3 digits in length. But if I go back over here to my orders in WooCommerce, you'll see that this is the only order, and WooCommerce just applied a random order number to this. Okay, so that's where that's coming from. So that's cool. Yeah, invoice number and order number. I would think I could probably strip both of these out, invoice date and order number, because you've already got invoice number and order dates. Let me go back over here into I'm going to customize the invoice again, customize. And I'm going to say I don't need the invoice date or the order number. So this should simplify things even more. Okay, invoice, how they paid, and the order date. Okay, and then another thing you can do here is there's a drag and drop system. Like you can move stuff around too, and there's all kinds of things you can do in here. You can add different features, text, custom fields, images, short codes, QR codes, lots of flexibility there. But I just want my invoice to be lean and mean, give them only the information that they need. I do see some other things. I don't need SKU and I don't need tax rate. I'm not seeing that in here. You can also see here when you expand each of these options that you can further customize the font size, the color, like whatever. Email, I don't need that either, and phone, take that out. I am not sure where that's coming from. Maybe that's something that you can't take out. SKU, tax rate. It could also be coming from the product itself. So if you go into products, simple product is what this particular customer ordered as part of our test. What we could say here is if you're a shop that doesn't sell physical products either, you could say inventory. Actually, you'd probably go back. If you're not selling the physical goods, you'd actually be better to do this in your WooCommerce settings. Products, I believe it's where it's at. Inventory, here, stock management. Anyway, I'll let you guys get into all of that. I don't want to wait. We're getting a little off tangent. I don't want to waste your time, but I would like to get this tax information out of there. Not sure how to do that. So I may reach out to their support and find out. It might be somewhere. I would say this would be called the order table. Here we go. Product table, orders table. Oh, here we go. Cool. So you expand the product table, and then you could take out tax type, SKU, tax rate, tax value. Sorry, my dog is snoring like really loud. Save changes. Let's go back over here, refresh. There we go. So I've got everything out of here that I would want to get out of here. I believe I'd want to get this VAT number registration removed. I am in talks with the vendor to get that removed. But once this is removed, and that might actually be a setting in here I could dive in after this video. That's probably another setting I could dive into and find. But once I got rid of that, I mean, for my particular business, this is all that I need to present. Okay. All right, so invoice design, as I mentioned earlier, the invoice design needs attention to match your branding, include, exclude information, etc. I showed you how to do that, and I walked you through the steps. That's pretty much it, guys. Like I said, if your business is going to want to configure this stuff specifically for you, and if you guys are shipping physical goods, selling physical goods, you're going to definitely want to configure this other stuff here. Depending on how you do credits and refunds, you're probably going to want to configure this. Make sure you have your policies in place for all this stuff, privacy policy, terms of use, anything that has to do with your store, with shipping and selling and all that stuff. Make sure all of that's in place. That's just a little side note to what this video is about, but as you can see, this is highly customizable, very clean interface, super simple to use. In my dealings with the vendor so far, they've been ultra responsive, super nice, willing to look at pretty much anything and answer any questions. So yeah, if you're looking for a PDF packing slip solution for your WooCommerce store, which we're all running here, then check this out. Please click subscribe so you know when the next video comes out. Let me know if you have ideas for other videos. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep plugging away with what I think is valuable for you guys. And take care. Bye-bye.